Hello, friends. Welcome to my program, Colonel's Punch. I am Colonel Dilip Thorat, war veteran. Today, I am going to speak to you on the topic which is very close to the nation's heart. It's about the unsung heroes of 26/11 Mumbai Terror Attack. Well, on that horrendous night at about 8 p.m., 10 militants armed to the teeth landed at the fisherman colony at Kasab, Mumbai. Before that, they had hijacked or fisherman trawler, killed 4 fishermen and made Captain Solanki a hostage and forced him to take them to the Bombay harbour. 7 kilometers from there, they inflated the Zodiac speedboats and arrived at Cuff Parade, Mumbai. Mumbai, the city that doesn't sleep. Mumbai, the city which has got more than 1.2 crore population. It's the financial and economical hub of India. The terrorists wanted to cripple it, and the people of Mumbai stood like rock and hit them back. Not one of them went back to their home, Pakistan. Well, gentlemen, this is the story of this Mumbaikars and the Mumbai police, which I'll cover in phase 1. And in the next episode, I'll cover the actions of Marcos, the naval commanders, and the NSG. Also, I'll touch about the Pradhan Committee and certain shortcomings in our fight back. Well, remember, gentlemen, terrorism and terrorists can hit anywhere. They can hit here or knock at your door. So, therefore, hear to me a little patiently. Well, on that night, 8 p.m., they landed. And they straight away, they were armed to the teeth, this 10 terrorists. They had each a AK-47, 5 magazines, a pistol, enough ammunition of 500 rounds, explosives. They had a GPS system between 2. And they were trained to fight a war. They were dangerous. And they stepped into Mumbai, the city of my dreams. Well, let us see what they did. The first target which I'll take on is a very clear target. It's the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj terminus, one of the biggest railway stations in the world. There's 18 platforms and over 6 lakh people travels on their journeys from here. And 9 o'clock at night is a peak period when most of the long distance trains leave, and also most of the people go back home in the local trains. So it was jam-packed. The two terrorists, one Kasab and the second Ismail, they got into the bathroom of the 13th platform and they came out with blazing guns, firing at poor passengers, most of them kids, women, old people, and they slaughtered them. It was a terrible time. And there emerged Mumbai's first hero. His name was Vishnu Chende, an announcer. He was sitting atop in a compartment, glass compartment, and he saw this. For a while he was shaken, but he was very brave, very strong. From there for 15 minutes, he talked in Hindi, Marathi, English, and guided the passengers, the Mumbaikars, to get off, exit from the platform and go from the rear gate. Now, Mumbaikars are very smart people. The moment they understood and they heard the firing and the rear gate is the best escape, in a jiffy, within 10-15 minutes, there was not a soul. And Kasab, who had come here to kill at least 1,000, was shocked. He was so wild that not finding any more targets, he shot some dogs. Well, his eyes fell on the announcer, and then he fired at Vishnu Chende. The glass shattered. There are holes everywhere. But Chende was quick. He just ducked and went behind the table. And Kasab was unable to kill him. Great man. Vishnu Chende later met President Obama. The next hero of mine was again in the CST. It was Devika Rotan. She was a 10-year-old girl. She was hit in the leg. She fell down. She bled. But she was resilient. She was courageous. She was not one to give up. She later, 7 months later, on the crunches, she went to the court and pointed at Kasab, the killer. She recognized him and said, he is the killer. So therefore, the world shift from here. Don't you think that the police people should have fired? Yes. There was one head constable, Zilu Yadav. No, the man did not have a weapon, but he wanted to fight back. He threw a plastic chair and then ran to one of his comrades who was having a gun. I know what gun he had. He had a First, Second World War .303, never fired in life. He picked up the gun and fired 2 rounds at Kasab. Well, it was an indication to Kasab that some firing is coming and these people are going to knock them. So there, Kasab and Ismail ran. They made their escape thinking reinforcement is coming. So with this, we will now shift to the third location or the second location, that is the Kama Hospital. Just about 10-15 minutes away, these two terrorists walked into the rear gate of Kama Hospital. Now, Kama Hospital is again an old hospital. 1885, more than 150 years old, 350 beds, and here, when they were jumping across the rear gate of Kama Hospital, nurse Anjali Kulte saw it, and she saw that these two terrorists had mercilessly shot down two hospital guards and they were lying in a blood. You know, this lady just saw it, and at that time, one of the terrorists shot and hit one of the nurses. The bullet just, touched the nurse's hand and she was bleeding. Undeterred, Anjali Kulte closed the heavy gate of Kama Hospital going towards the ward in which 20 ladies were admitted in the maternity ward. They were all to deliver shortly. She immediately informed the police and moved these 20 ladies to a corner room and shut all doors. Kasab, not knowing that he will not be able to make headway, fired. As threw grenades, but the nurses and the doctors were very strong. The door did not open. In the meantime, a police party of ACP Date, Sadanand Date, arrived, and seeing these people topped up, fired. As Kasab was on a higher plane, he threw a grenade and then fired AK. The next Mumbaikar hero is this brilliant police officer. He got hit, but he kept firing. And he was seriously injured. Again, imagine he picked up a weapon, a carbine which was an old carbine from Malabar police station. He came in a hurry. The Bombay police officers were very strong. And with a Second World War weapon, he was firing. In the meantime, the man, the hero, ACP, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Ashok Kamate, arrived. Ashok Kamate was known to me, his father, and brilliant army officer. And luckily, he was the SP in my hometown, Kolhapur. So I used to meet him quite often. And he used to carry an AK, in the front seat. And I used to ask him, I say, yeah, Ashok, you are the only officer I see carrying an AK. He says, sir, a police officer should always be vigilant and should also be well armed. You never know. I have to save people. And this thing came true. The moment he went to the rear gate, he realized that these two terrorists have gone toward the front gate. He was driven by another Inspector Salaska. He had killed 70 top gangsters. So he was very good, but then he was driving. And behind him was my friend Hemant Karkare. That was in the vehicle in the first row, and then the second row was the constable, ASI, Inspector Vishnu Jadhav, and three. So they all in a police vehicle, drove straight. They were very, very, you just see all these four people, policemen, who literally don't take part in, gun battles, but they wanted to kill this terrorist before he could do any more harm. They are not young people, but they're very forceful. And Ashok Kamate, as I've told you, was terrific. He was a hero. He could shoot a ball, football, from one end to the other end. He was a bull of a man. So when they came towards the front gate of the Kama Hospital under a tree, Ashok Kamate saw one militant. He fired. He hit him. It was Kasab. Hit him on the hand. But before they could get out, the other militant jumped from behind a tree and he fired volleys from his AK, and the shots hit and killed. And all the three officers were martyred. The martyred officers, and drove straight towards metro. I used to study in the school, St. Xavier's, opposite metro. They fired at the civilians who were just rushing to go home. Just imagine mowing down people. And near the Vidhan Bhavan, their vehicle got punctured. So they got off and got into and forced themselves into another sedan car this time. And started going towards Chowpatty, Girgaon Chowpatty. The same road takes you to the governor's house and to where the Chief Minister of Maharashtra stays and the ministers on Malabar Hill. By then, the police were informed by Vishnu Jadhav, who was now left behind in a punctured car, that these people were traveling that side. And at Girgaon Chowpatty, the police had put up a tough barrier and they were fully armed. Moment this vehicle appeared, they fired at it. Kasab wanted to turn back, but he was unable to turn his vehicle, and the bullets killed Ismail on spot. Kasab was hit, but he feigned to be dead. And here comes the next hero. He is no one else than an ex-army signalman. He is PSI Tukaram Omble, the hero of Mumbai. Just imagine, this man rushed to capture the terrorist Kasab. As Kasab suddenly got up, aimed his AK, Omble was not wearing, or most of the officers and men were not having safety, belts or vests. And this man got hold of Kasab's AK and Kasab pumped in about 20 to 30 bullets into the chest of this brave man, Tukaram, PSI Tukaram Omble. But Tukaram Omble was an army man. He did not let that AK shift. He held on to it, and Kasab was physically captured by the Mumbai police. He was captured alive, and he was the only terrorist to be captured. Well, that in short is a story of these two terrorists, Kasab and Ismail, who butchered about 58 people and injured 200 in CST railway terminus, then about 16 in Kama hospital, and en route at metro and all, they fired. They injured and killed about 10 people. Their end game was over. And Mumbaikars had risen. At the same time, the second attack was planned. That was 9:20, 9:45, and this was the Leopold Cafe. Now, Leopold Cafe was, again, a very popular joint with foreigners. And people came out there and sat and talked. And that day was also a match between India. A cricket test match was going on, so people were busy listening to the commentary. And the owner of this hotel, Farang, he watched these two terrorists getting down from a cab, a taxi. Now these two terrorists were Abu Sheikh and Nazir. They got down from their bag, they took out those two AK, and exactly at 9:14 they went inside the Leopold Cafe and fired like hell, threw grenades. There were bullet marks everywhere, glasses were broken, people ducked. And it was a massacre. 10 people were killed, nearly 15 injured. And there was a rooter, Mishra, Saurav Mishra. He was also hit and he saw the whole thing. It was a terrible thing. Just about 2 to 5 minutes, that knocked out everyone. And those who left, who ran, were saved. There was another woman, who was in the next, was overlooking this firing. She was brave. And she's got a block, Mrs. Shinde, from Sangli. And she saw the whole thing. And the moment the fire was over, she was out to help the people. And that is what all Mumbaikars is. People just got out to help. And Abu Sheikh and Nazir ran away from there. They went to Taj. I'll tell you about that a little later. Now coming to the next topic, or the next place where they attacked, is Nariman House, or Shabad House. Now, this, as you know, gentlemen, is a center of the Jewish, the religious sort of a center, where they used to offer prayers, classes. And it was a very quiet corner where some guests, Israeli guests, some Jew guests used to come and stay while they were on a visit to Mumbai. It was one of the 8 places where the Jew community got together. Now, it was, The manager, or the owner as you can call it, was a Rabi and his wife. Both were wonderful people. And they had a son, 2-year-old Moshe. And there were about 5 to 6 Israeli hostages or Israeli guests who they had dinner and went up to the 3rd, 4th floor of the Nariman House, called the Chabad House. And they never were imagining anything would happen. And same time, at about 9:40, there was tremendous firing, blast. And these two people now, two new terrorists, Abu and Umar. So therefore we are now down to 6 terrorists. Got inside. There were bursts of grenades and noises. And they were fully armed. They got hold of the hostages. Now, this particular place, Nariman House, is surrounded by high buildings. Now, this happened on 26th. And on 27th, because there were hostages inside, the entire TV crew started giving full coverage. It was the first time an operation was telecast in India, a live operation, and which gave out a lot of details which the Pakistani sitting in Karachi were able to pass on to these people, to these 2 terrorists, Abu and Umar. Now it was time to clear it, because these people were murderers. They will kill these people any time. But as they are taken hostage, one have to negotiate. Now the FBI, the US, FBI, the Israeli people, they started contacting them on telephone. Till then, no action was being taken. By then, the energy had also arrived early morning. The area was surrounded. Now, energy is well tasked. The energy commanders had decided that if these people don't give in, they will attack. So in the evening, they did attack from the ground level. But not much headway was made. So it was decided that the helicopter Mi-4 will be used, and the energy people will rappel down in full view of the public at 6 in the morning, 28. The energy people went in. There was a fierce gunfight. And both these two were eliminated. The hero here was Havaldar Gajendra Singh Bisht. More about it in my second episode. But lucky, one got away. That was the baby Moshe. Sandra, the nurse, the lady who was looking after Moshe saw him in a pool of blood next to his parents. He immediately grabbed the baby and ran down. That was a lucky escape. In 2017, Prime Minister Modi, when he went to Israel, he met young Moshe, who was by then 10 years old. So is life. Mumbaikars rose to the occasion. At the same time, at about 10:00 hours, 26 November, the next lot of terrorists, two of them, Abdul Rahman and Fad, entered Oberoi Trident Tower. Now, Trident Tower, a restaurant, a hotel, having more than 555 rooms. And with Oberoi, it becomes huge, over 1,000 rooms. Great space. And it all looks the most beautiful Queen's necklace on the Marine Drive. These two terrorists entered Trident Hotel by first placing two bombs outside, which were to go after about half an hour, and then sprayed bullets across the moment they entered the hotel footsteps. They mowed down the reception staff, the bellboys, many new experienced who had come to work, trainees, and then they ran into the Gusi, Puke, the opium bar, and created hell. It was a massacre of the greatest kind. It was all blood, flesh flying all over. The tiffin restaurant where foreigners were there was hit. You can imagine what must have happened. But the ferocity of attack did not deter the people, the guests who were in the hotel, and the hotel staff from fighting back in their own way. They did not give up. There was this lady, Linda. She was a writer. She writes on children's books. She was a total eyewitness to this. And then there was this man from UK, Roger Hunter, who later wrote a book, Be Silent or Be Killed. Really, everyone must read this book, because in this sort of a situation, one has to be very cool, silent, and very quiet. Otherwise, the militants will just fire at you. And then what he did, he just rushed to his room, picked up his passport, his mobile, his money, and wanted to flee at the earliest. But by then the militants had also got up to the stairs and started firing. Now Mr. Hunt writes very raw details of this ghastly murders. He blocked the room, the sofa sets and all that. And when the Milton set the hotel on fire, he saw that the ducts of the air conditioners were closed. Well, you must read this book. Be silent or be killed. Horrific account. The Rapid Action Force and cordon was established and the whole area was cordoned off. For the first time, we had the NSG who came in, National Security Guard. They're very tough. And they landed up in the morning, and then there was rapid clearance and hundreds of hostages were freed. They were given very clear instructions that one after another the stories had to be cleared so that the guests living inside, especially are mostly foreigners, are pulled out. Then it happened on the 18th floor in room number 1856 when the first militant was killed on 27 November. There was explosion, grenades bursting up everywhere. On 28 November, the NSG had cleared and killed 2 militants and the whole area was safe. Hotel Trident and Hotel Oberoi were cleared of militants. Well, 30 guests were killed and 143 injured. Pakistan will have to pay for it. I'm telling you, this is not a small number. At the same time, a little earlier, I've come to this stage now where the final duel was on between the Indian forces, NSG, Marcos, and 4 militants. At about 9:40, the iconic Taj Mahal Palace and the Taj Tower were under attack. There were 2 terrorists who had gone to Cafe Leopold and created havoc. Shoaib and Umar, who came from the rear, that also from the Leopold side. Mind you, they had information and they were all coordinated. This particular rear entry is never opened. It's opened only on particular days when there is a corporate party is on. Bang on. And 2 militants, after leaving 2 bombs near a police station nearby, went in from the front door, from the front entrance, as you can call it. They were Abdul and Ali. The moment they got in, hell was let loose. They fired at all sides. They went into the pool side. They were shocked, the fragrance, the beauty. The foreigners sitting there. For a while they thought they are in Jannat, heaven. And then the evil face turned up again, the devil in them. And they fired. 4 foreigners were killed on spot. Then they moved on to the Shamiana restaurant. They created havoc. Now, when all this was going on, within 7 minutes appears the next hero of Mumbai. He was DCP Police Vishwas Nangare Patil. He was in charge of the whole area, and within 7 minutes with his radio operators, a pistol with about 3 rounds only, and no safety vest, nothing. He just rushed inside and he joined the third hero. That was Sunil Kudian. Now, Sunil and Vishwas formed a great team. They were just a couple of these people, unarmed. Sunil Kudiani was the security officer of Taj, a brave man indeed. And when two brave people get together, heroic actions take place. These two officers ran to the second floor, then the fourth floor, blocked the militants coming down the staircase, and saw to it that they engaged them. They even fired at 3 militants when they were firing hand grenades. There was chaos everywhere. Seeing that they cannot make a headway, they came down to the second floor. This was the nerve center of Taj Hotel. It was a security control room from where you can speak the CCTV. One could see all the corridors, all the rooms, and speak to people. And it was here at about 10:30 that a golden opportunity came their way. It was in the room on the 6th floor. I think the room number was 622. All the 4 terrorists were together for some time. You can imagine. It was a golden opportunity missed. The Commissioner of Police Mumbai had promised to send reinforcements, crack teams, but nothing had arrived. And a golden opportunity created by these two individuals was missed. The Indian TV goes mad. They kept announcing everything, and they said, from the control room you can see the militants and all. That was enough for the bosses in Karachi to inform these people that go to that room and neutralize it. Within seconds, they came down and they blasted the CCTV center. They threw the grenades. 1 policeman was killed. And the entire command and control system, from where the DCP Vishwas Nangare organized people to get away from the flanks, now came to a shut. The lights went off. There's a fire there. And the militants, again, they had taken up a very tactical position on the golden staircase, which goes right through the central lobby to the dome. From there, they will not allow anyone to come up, and they used to fire centrally. They used to throw grenades. And about midnight, they started creating fires, and the iconic dome, what a beautiful dome of Taj Mahal Hotel, where millions used to come and watch from Gateway of India, was alighted. It was in flames, orange flames all over. It was that hurt Mumbai and the world most. It was satanic. These people setting everything on fire. The trouble was that by morning, the big force, Marcos, the naval commandos arrived. This was what Commissioner Hassan Ghafoor was saying that he will send. The police came late, and these people came early morning at about 3. 300 of them, fully armed, having the latest modern weaponry, armed to the teeth. Now they started moving in, stage by stage, floor by floor, and they cleared up the area, and 400 hostages were freed. But the main target was to get these militants. The militants, as I was telling you, they were on this royal golden staircase, and that blocked the whole thing. And there appeared Maj Unnikrishnan and his team. Now, Maj Unnikrishnan, 31 years old, brave soldier, he and his team literally started climbing the staircase. The staircase was drenched because when the Taj Tower or the Taj was on fire, tons of water was poured by the firefighters. And the red carpet and everything was soaked, and one could creak the whole thing the moment you started walking. They could become easy targets because the terrorists knew the whole area. They have been going up and down the stairs, up and down the corridors, and they were waiting. There was a flicker, and this team fired. The terrorists fired back. They threw 2 grenades. And then there was a blast. Must be about 5,000 splinters from the 2 grenades. Went and hit Commando Yadav. Major saw him falling down, tumbling. He immediately came to his rescue and asked Jodha, his another partner, to take him to safety. Well, here was a man who was exposing himself in front of fire. Then he told him, I'm going alone, I'll get these monsters. And he slowly, in the darkness, he never knew anything, the route, where the militants are. He climbed up the stairs. You can imagine. The militants were just waiting for him. One man, 4 militants. And these people were there for over 35 hours by now. Uni threw some grenades, made an entry, fired. He thought he got one. And then All of a sudden, a grenade blasted next to him, and bullets ripped his chest. Uni fell down. But the fight continued. Major Carnwall, Major Jasrotia, and their teams followed up. One cleared up the Taj. The second went up, tracing and following Major Uni. After a long time, he found Major Uni. Uni had received hail of bullets. But then he saw one trail, because Uni had injured one chap, of blood going. And that was enough. These two teams now smashed into Taj, corridor by corridor, room by room, and shot all the 4 Miltons dead. The last Milton was killed on 29th, and his body was thrown out early morning from the window, and as it fell, thud loudly outside the Taj Hotel. All the TV cameras were glued to it. The world knew it. The monsters, 9 of them were killed and 1 captured. Well, being a Mumbaikar, I salute over 170 brave Mumbaikars who laid down their lives. They also include 29 foreigners, out of which large number were Americans and Israelis. I also feel sorry for over 400 Mumbaikars who were hurt. But Mumbaikars have risen to the occasion, in hundreds killed. I salute to the spirit of Mumbaikars. Thank you. Jai Hind.